welcome to this morning's AI Innovator Spotlight, and I am absolutely delighted to welcome Jim. And I met Jim actually at one of my virtual open mornings recently when we were talking, sorry, not a virtual open morning, it was a talk about AI risk. And Jim told me his story about how he got into AI and how he literally turned his business around. And what I love about this story is that it is a really good example of somebody seeing the AI opportunity. And rather than seeing AI as a threat, which we all did when it first came out, but seeing that opportunity, going for it, and really pivoting a business. And Jim will tell you his whole story, but I won't jump in. But obviously, going from running a big agency to now running an AI powered agency and what that actually means for his business, which is fantastic. And yeah, just turning that opportunity around, learning AI, taking the time to learn AI properly, and then being able to deliver a service within his industry, really disrupting that industry and being able to offer video now to businesses that previously just couldn't afford to create things like adverts and other video content, and that now becomes much more affordable through the introduction of AI video. So it's a fantastic story, really inspiring. But I'm going to leave it there and just hand over to Jim, who will take over from here. So thank you very much for joining us today, Jim.
Thanks, Emma. Good morning, everybody. As Emma says, my name is Jim Martin, now the founder of a video first production company called Vidaio, that I started just now a few months ago. But there's a bit of a story that goes behind my journey to get there. Let me just share with you my screen because I put a little deck together. It's not my best example of a PowerPoint deck, I have to say, but it's been done in a little bit of a rush. Let me know if you can see that.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So everyone on board with that? Can you all see that?
Yeah, that's coming through brilliantly.
Fine. Okay. So the story that we're talking about is really my journey from the ashes of my media production agency to becoming a generative AI specialist. I want to just talk very briefly about my background because I think it's part of who I am and where I've come from, and how that went from a corporate role to starting my own agency to eventually collapsing, and I'll just briefly explain that, to then starting a brand new, very boutique business in the life stories world. And that was really the start of my AI interest. That's led on to me launching Vidaio at the ripe old age of 67. And if there's time, we can talk about some of the lessons I've learned along the way, some of the opportunities I'm exploring, and plans for 2026. So, without further ado, when I was 28 years of age, I landed my dream job as head of marketing services for the UK's biggest travel agent at the time, Lund Poly, where I was charged with responsibility for managing a multi-million-pound budget that was involved in graphic design, print, photography, video, conferences, and exhibitions. And I love the little picture that's on the right because this is a photograph of some of the point of sale, or one of the point of sale campaigns that I was involved in. And we were moving from using stock library images to producing our own. And I convinced the managing director and marketing director that I should take a camera crew and some models out to Jamaica to do the shoot. And of course, the idea of adding a family with small children to the budget seemed a little bit of a stretch. So I took my own children. So the two kids that you can see there are my two children that adorned the windows of every high street travel agent in the country a few years back. But it's all part of me getting into and learning about how visual communications was used and what went behind it. Then I left my corporate job and started my agency, JMS, at the age of 37. And because of my background and the grounding I'd got within the marketing sector, turning my hands to conference content, internal communications, training videos, talking heads, and the like, was again just for me the best work possible. There's that saying, isn't there, that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I genuinely believe that I've never worked a day in my life because I love what I do. Um, the clients I had were initially in the travel sector because, of course, that was my background, but very quickly evolved into food retail and particularly convenience retailing, with companies like the Cooperative, Euro Garages, and McColl's being my primary clients. The Co-op I had as a client for about 7 years, Euro Garages for about 3 years, and McColl's stayed with me for it was about 15 years. I was part of their family. They knew all my family. It was the most incredible relationship ever. And I got access, of course, to a lot of the other brands that you can see on screen, creating communications content, advertising content for them. So it was the most fantastic relationship. But then one day, it's that story. A new marketing director was appointed, and he decided that our days were ended. And so JMS, it was too big a part of my business. It was 75% of my opportunity. Classic story. I'd been trying to sort of broaden the client base, but there was so much work we were doing for McColl's. It was a difficult one to balance. But anyway, that business closed back in 2019, followed by redundancies. I had to make my team redundant. And I have to be honest with you, that led me into a bit of a depression. It was a very dark time for me, but I decided I was going to start something completely on my own. And I'd played around about a decade or so previously with the idea of capturing life stories or people's memories to mainly to celebrate big birthdays like a 50th, a 60th, a 70th birthday. And so I launched Loftbox Life Stories, and this short film, if you got your audio on, is the film I created just to try and give people a flavour as to what it was all about. For both, sorry, for both of my parents, I had every opportunity to have done something like Loftbox, to have captured some of their stories and memories, and I never did. I do regret that because I think that's such a missed opportunity. So many people have said, if only I'd have known about this, if only this had been available. And it is that if I just had one more day with my mum, my dad, my grandparents, to ask some of those questions, to capture some of those memories, what a difference it would make. And this is trying to give people a solution so they've never ever got to say, I was too late. So that's just a little flavour of what Loftbox Life Stories was all about. So I founded that in late 2019. I also found some other people that work in a similar business and formed the Life Stories Association. And we were just about to launch a big website and a whole new conference that was taking place in April of that year. And then we all got locked down. And particularly older people were locked away. So a lot of the businesses failed. My business managed to continue because I'd got some clients already on board. But during that lockdown period, I started to work on my marketing. And this is when I first came across ChatGPT, which I was using for press releases, blog ideas and content. And then I heard that they were launching this product called DALL-E, where you could create images just from text. And I thought, wow, for my life story clients, they often tell me stories about events that there are no photographs that exist that could support those stories within the videos I was creating. So I tried to create some, and this one was one of the first images I ever created. And it was to support a story of a lady that said when she was 6 or 7 years of age, her and her sister used to go onto the South Downs where there was crashed aircraft, and they would go trophy hunting, trying to find bits and pieces that had been left by the pilots that had long since died. Sounds a bit macabre, But that really is the way I first started to get into using generative AI to support my business. This is just another example of how that then evolved um, with an actual client talking about her memory of her father coming back from the war, a father she'd never met.
Every night when I said my prayers before going to sleep, I used to say, please bring Daddy home safe and sound. And then in the middle of the night, suddenly I was woken up, and it was quite frightening really when I think about it. This man came in all dressed in army uniform and this helmet and this big kit bag. This was this person that I didn't know.
I'm sure you get the idea, but that was just using generative AI images and animating them within the story to try and bring that story to life. Anyway, the life stories business was great to do, and I still do it. But it's an incredibly difficult service to market. So in 23-24, um, in 2023, I joined BNI, which many of you may know is a networking organization, because I wanted to try and reach out to more people that would help me promote the Loftbox story. Everybody loved it. But there I was in a room of 40 odd people that were all saying to me, can you do, regular marketing communication stuff? And I was turning so much business away because I wanted to focus on the life stories. And then eventually I gave in, and I pivoted to start providing business type commercial social media content for some of these businesses. And again, was developing my AI skills into a slightly different area. Initially, it was mixing stock images with a little bit of AI, and this is one
Call
of the
into one of
first
our
I
showrooms
did.
to discuss your design ideas and to explore our quality range of kitchen styles and accessories. And take it from me, all the best things are worth waiting for. Elise Kitchens and Interiors. Designed for living, built for life.
So an AI Father Christmas, an AI voiceover, and that was a turning point where I started to think, hang on a second, there's something in this. And then I created my first ever 100% generated AI commercial, and this is it for a boiler engineer.
If you're thinking about a new boiler and want to make the right choice, you should speak to Berkshire Heating, a family-run business that achieved its 400th five-star review on Google in 2025. Following that initial call, we'll confirm an appointment for our specialist heating advisor to visit, and he'll conduct a survey to assess your heating and hot water requirements before talking you through your options so that you can make the best decision for your home. And don't worry, there's no charge for this service and no obligation to buy. Following our visit, we'll send you a comprehensive quotation detailing all works included. And then, if you're happy with the quote and would like to proceed, we'll make the arrangements for installation, all of which will be confirmed in writing. If you'd like to talk to us about your new boiler, give us a call on 013 4423 1223. Berkshire Heating, helping you to live in comfort all year round.
Now, as many of you may realize, a commercial like that would cost in normal production terms 15, 20,000 pounds. You'd have all the logistics of getting actors, people, uniforms, lighting, camera crew, all on location, then all the editing and everything else that goes with it. And it absolutely blew my mind that I could have control over all of those aspects from my desk. It was a complete game changer. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure you will have spotted that a lot of that did look a little bit AI, but it was 2 years ago. So that's what I was producing 2 years ago. And I've had 2 years now to work on my trade, if you like. So I've been building my AI skills and my AI portfolio, and experimenting and pushing the boundaries into things like voice cloning, AI music and songs, animation, long form AI productions where you've got to create that consistency between your shots to create the longer productions. Deep fake cloning or digital doubles, where you've got an actual client that's maybe camera shy, and by creating their digital double, they can present, and I'll show you an example in a second. Moving into more cinematic style productions and AI testimonials. This is something I produced as a sample, just as a demonstration really, for a new client called Podfather for Christmas.
For centuries, I have battled with different routes around the world to deliver all of my presents on time, but not anymore. The Podfather route planning app is just one of a suite of smart solutions that helps me get Christmas delivered on time. And that's why I am delighted to be sponsored by Podfather.
If it's good enough for Santa, it's probably good enough for you. Merry Christmas!
Bit cheesy ending, but there you go. For the same client, I wanted to demonstrate how we could use animation too.
All right, one package for you. Can you sign right here?
Sure, thank you.
Uh-huh.
So again, these sorts of animations would have cost thousands and thousands of pounds. One of the areas that I've been flipping and flopping a little bit around is using AI talent for testimonials. And I got pretty good at it, and these examples will show that. But whether there's enough trust in using AI characters to support businesses in the area of testimonials, I'm not sure. But what I do know is trying to get video testimonials is not that easy. But here's a few samples anyway.
Our situation was extremely complex, with a contested will, and I really don't think we would have got through it without the expertise, the kindness and professionalism of Chris Lawn.
Thoroughly recommended.
Delaray is passionate about outdoor living, and that passion has created a space that my family and I can enjoy for years to come. The workmanship is exceptional too.
There is no doubt in my mind I'd have lost my house, my business and probably my wife had it not been for Alan and his team.
Cheers, Annabelle. You were right about this place.
And again, that's 6 months ago I did that. So everything, there's a great saying that's used by one of the influencers I follow, who says, just remember, today is the worst it's ever going to be, which I think is very true to say. Anything I produced yesterday, I can probably create an improved version of tomorrow. I'm trying to remember what this film is. Oh, yes. I'll just go back. I decided I wanted to see if I could, and this was for my own enjoyment rather than anything else, one of those Marks and Spencer's food ads. So this is what this looked like.
This is no ordinary food. This is damned expensive food. Give the amuse-bouche a wide berth and try the latest in great value, posh fast food.
Hi, my name's Mark. And my name is Spencer. Right, who's next?
We're parked just outside Marks and Spencer's.
A little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of fun, but again, just me pushing and stretching my skills in this world. This is one of the most complex films I created. Again, this is now 6 months ago. The key characters, certainly at the start, are a bit plasticky. So again, there would be significant improvements if I were to do that today. But in terms of the complexity of the storytelling and the shots, this was really one of my favorite pieces of work.
When it comes to writing your will, it's not just about paperwork. It's about peace of mind. At Savigny Will Writers, we believe in a caring, personalized approach. That's why we come to you, meeting in the comfort of your own home, to your schedule. With years of experience, we tailor each will to protect your legacy and, more importantly, your loved ones. And unlike traditional solicitors, we make the process informal and relaxed. We'll never rush you, but we're always professional.
It was such a friendly meeting, and Nigel gave me the time to properly think about what I needed.
So different to our experience of using a solicitor.
And this is an example of a complete digital double I did for a guy called James Howgate when he wanted to do his showcase presentation, but he's a very nervous presenter, and he said, "Can we do this using a clone?" So I said, "Yeah."
Hi, I'm James Howgate, and this is my...
Why is that not started?
Hi, I'm James Howgate. Hi, I'm James Howgate, and this is my BNI showcase. The first thing you need to know about me is that my journey through life, over the years I've done a lot: computer programming, data
So
analysis,
all of these images of
even
James
played semi-pro
working
cricket.
are
Then I retrained as
clones.
an electrician, which opened my eyes to how much energy we waste every single day. That's when something clicked. I realised energy doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. It just needs to be smarter. So I set out to build something new.
So that was James brought to life using the power of AI. And this is one of my most recent commercials. This is where I'm heading in 2026 to try and create more cinematic storytelling, again, in the wills market.
No one wants to think about the worst day of their family's life, but preparing for it can be the greatest gift you ever give. A professionally written will protects loved ones and preserves your wishes, because when the time comes, your voice should still guide them. Your will is more than paperwork, it's protection. Protect what matters most with a will written by Chris Lawn, a qualified private client solicitor.
So I'm just wondering, Emma, how are we for time? Do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, I'd really like you to go through the lessons and challenges. I think that'd be really interesting, Jim, please.
Okay. One of the things that I've come across is client expectations. That there is a belief that the stuff that you've just seen can be created with just a simple prompt. That is absolutely not the case. There's also an expectation that changes to, if completed content, can be made quite quickly and easily. And again, there's a lot of unraveling and then re-prompting, editing that adds to that complexity. And there is also expectations around the quality that can be achieved quickly. And what I've now done is I've created a sort of 1 to 10 explainer, which gives my clients an idea when they undertake a project with me, or I undertake a project for them, of what, if they want something that is perfectly serviceable, we can get to around about number 5 on that chart, and deliver something that is perfectly acceptable for most small and medium-sized businesses. Trying to get up to 9 or 10 will take a lot more time and therefore money. So that's one of the things that I've learned. The whole prompting and processes that you have to go through. I'm still experimenting with both my prompts and the processes that I go through. But it's everything from just simple mind dumps, putting exactly what you want to try and achieve into the app, through using ChatGPT to create prompts for you. There's another form of prompting called JSON prompting, where you would ask it to create a prompt based upon a sample image. That you've got image to video prompting, which is being used by a lot of the apps now, and you can even prompt using live action by recording your own activities and getting that to be mirrored using AI. The last couple of commercials I showed to you in terms of set design and continuity of actors, the wardrobe, camera, lighting, angles, color balance, the whole thing continues to be a challenge, but it is getting better. The app producers are making life a lot easier, but there are still complexities. And most of the work that I do is not produced with any single AI app. There's a term I believe now in the industry called product stacking, which is about using different tools that have got different strengths. You've got to identify the tools that are best fit for the job that you want it to do, and it's weeding out the weaker ones. I currently have, I think it's about £1,500 worth of subscriptions that I am paying to give me access to credits and a whole suite of suppliers, and I'm starting to weed out the ones that I use less of. And there are a range of new apps that are pulling all of these apps together under one roof. Companies like Artlist and Higgsfield, if you're interested, are worth taking a look at, because they have got some very user-friendly solutions for first-time creators. But for 2026, the tools are becoming more intuitive. It's becoming easier for people to create high quality single clips. More complex stuff, you probably do need a bit of a background in video editing to be able to bring some of those together. And as I mentioned, the prompts are getting simpler. There are more and more guardrails being applied to a lot of the apps, which is for the good, but it does create some bumps in the road for production. And I suspect that there are signs that actually getting some of the content delivered, once you've created your prompt and you've asked the app to deliver you some content, some of those delivery times are increasing. And I suspect that at some point they're going to provide pro users with the option of getting much faster turnarounds at an increased premium. We'll see. Where am I today? Very confident in my ability to produce pretty much anything anybody wants. A growing pipeline of business. I'm increasing my prices. I'm doing fewer one-off demos. I'm getting in touch with better quality clients, and generally a better understanding of the AI production issues and challenges. My focus is going to be around more consistent workflows, guarding against the AI risks. Thank you, Emma. And increasing my product quality from currently around a level 6 up to a level 8 or 9 through better processes. And I want to create a suite of white label solutions that I can offer to same industries, but in different geographical locations. So that's it. We just about got through that almost in time.
That was absolutely brilliant, Jim. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, well done on creating an AI first video production company. When I spoke to you the other day, you're definitely one of the first ones I think that's bridged that gap, because as you mentioned, there is this move in the cinematic capabilities of AI video have been fantastic, but there's not many people that know how to use those capabilities that are actually managing to transform that into a business for the corporate world. And you've done exactly that. And you have, like I mentioned right at the beginning, you have disrupted the industry almost, because you can go to market with much better pricing for these small businesses that were unable to do it. Just a quick one. When you spoke at the beginning, you were speaking about the fact that you lost your business and you couldn't really see a way forward. What was the light bulb moment, and how much did you have to invest in AI training for you to sort of turn this around? Talk to us a little bit about that particular.
So sorry, just in terms of your question, it's how did I pivot from?
What was the kind of light bulb moment? So you'd lost your business, you were in this depression,
Yeah,
AI was coming. Did you
yeah.
sort of think that AI was a threat first of all, and you didn't want to know? What was that kind of changing point?
I mean, certainly the Loftbox experience was the light bulb moment when I could start to create images. Was a really big moment because I realized that this was a new technology that was only going to get better. And just the way I'm wired, I start thinking about what could be done, where could this lead me? Another, not so much a light bulb moment, but it was when things became good enough.
Mm,
As you can imagine, through my corporate days, my agency days, we used to use a lot of professional voiceover artists. So I
mm,
know what good voiceovers sound like. And some of my early explorations of AI voices were just not good enough for me to do anything with. But once they became good enough, it was like, wow, how can we use this? And this was sort of the start of the what I call TV style commercials for small businesses, because you can put that AI soundtrack, that voiceover soundtrack, to tell a story that then you just need to apply some visuals to. And so in the early days of me supporting small businesses, it was using the voiceover as the baseline. And a lot of the businesses would then, like the kitchen company that I showed the example of, he was just supplying me photographs of his kitchens that
mm.
I was just using in traditional editing formats, and then eventually added the Father Christmas for good measure.
Yeah.
Um, but um, but those were two big moments that started me to think, yeah, this is something I've got to keep on top of.
Yeah, and it's really good to see your sort of initial your first content generation compared to what it's like now. And like you mentioned, it's only going to get better and better and better. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. I found that really interesting and really, really inspiring that you've taken AI and run with it. But I'm going to open up the floor. I know we've got a couple of people into video on the call. I'm sure they've got some questions. So Sarah's got her hand up. Sarah, would you like to?
Hi, Sarah.
Oh, you're on mute. Sorry, Sarah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, just wanted to say, Jim, that was really fascinating. I've got a keen interest in the area, probably from a little bit of a social media angle. And I already, in dabbling, know how a wormhole to teach myself some of this is. So my question to you was, because your experience through prior to AI and post AI is so
Mm.
valuable. Do you have anything in your roadmap that would be in teaching? Because I think there's such value in that because obviously I can see that your experience, real experience, is so valid. Joe blogs can go out there and teach themselves, but it it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily create the same result.
No, you're absolutely right. I feel blessed in many ways that I've got that background of real, high-end corporate
Mm.
clients that I've worked with. So I understand what good looks like and what the expectations are. And
Mm.
then 30 years of being a videographer and editor has provided me with the base skills to be able to now interpret AI tools and to get the best out of them. So for anybody without all of that skill mix and experience mix, it's going to be harder. But
Mm.
if you're committed, then you'll be able to get some good progress, I'm sure. But I think part of the question was, have I got any interest in training or coaching in this area? It's crossed my mind, um, but I think I love creating more than teaching. We'll have to see.
No, thank you. Yeah. No, just I think it's going to be my hobby area for a while because I just know what a wormhole it is. But I think that would be quite exciting to explore as well, to see how, like you say, through that process of creation, to see what happens. Thank
One
you.
thing I would say is there are some amazing tutorial channels on YouTube, and I would explore those because there are some really, really good
You mentioned a couple of, I was going to go and, was it Art List and
Artlist and
Higgsfield? Yeah,
Higgsfield.
I'll
Yeah,
have a little look at those.
Higgsfield is the one I use primarily. Of those multi-app solutions, but well worth a look.
Okay.
Brilliant. And Jim, you mentioned, am I on mute? No, I'm not on mute. So I will come to the other questions. You use mainly the Adobe suite, don't you? You mentioned the other
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
So that's something to be aware of. Jim uses that. Brilliant stuff. Rachel, you've got your hand up.
I'm really interested. Thank you, Jim. That was a great to sort of hear your story. And I think this reinforces for me about AI is brilliant and but it augments the skills you've already got and the fact, you had all of that background, all of that knowledge, you know what good should look like. And therefore, when you're applying the AI, you know you have that knowledge. And I think this is the bit that people forget. And I know Emma's said numerous times, don't abdicate all your thinking. And it is true because you still have to go, and it might be the next generation totally learn on how to do it with AI, but you still have to learn what good looks like because otherwise, how can you critique the AI? You don't know how to do it. So, and how to prompt them and how to tell it what to do. So, yeah, it was really, really interesting. And yeah, I was quite blown away with the results. I'm not a big fan of the sort of AI generated images and stuff because a lot of them you can really, really tell they're AI generated.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really impressed. What a great story.
Thank you. One other thing I should also add to that skill set is that with any of the, certainly in the world I'm working in, it's all about communication. It's all about telling the story and getting the message across. And if you haven't got the ability to put that story together and the creative concept together, then you're going to struggle anyway because you have to have the story to tell to start pulling your film together.
Brilliant. Thank you. Paula, you've got your hand up.
Hi, Paula. I'm a motion graphic designer. I'm from industry. I'm still just about hanging on. Oh, the last dying sort of. I've still got work. When I use AI, I've tried it. There's a couple of things. One is that it's for me because I've only just dabbled a tiny bit on because of Emma. It's not very controllable, and also the things like big chunky pixels missing and things. And when you do it traditionally, you're used to like After Effects where you build up layers of your own animation and you can change the lighting and you can move everything around and you can, somebody says, oh, instead of it being pink, I want it to be blue, or instead of being, a box, I want it to be a ball. Yeah. And you just change the layers. And with AI, the thing that I'm struggling with massively is the fact that you get what you get. And then if you want it again, you can't. And I was just wondering, one is what software that has the most flexibility that you can go in and actually communicate with rather than just be given. I've kind of settled with the idea of using it as proof of concept because that way you can sort of provide a layer of footage and say, right, we can either use this or we can shoot it. And if you shoot it, it's going to cost you this. But because I'm an animator, like motion graphics or visual effects rather than actual videographer, it's only going to be like a layer. That's kind of the idea where I settled with. But your stuff is amazing, and I'm thinking maybe I was just threw the baby out with the bathwater a bit.
I think all of the things that you're talking about, I totally get.
Yeah.
And I have struggled. Last year in particular, I used to describe it as wrestling with AI because you just could not get it to quite do what you want.
Yeah.
The more you explore the tools, the more you explore the techniques. It's never, don't get me wrong, it's never going to give you sorry, never say that about AI.
Yeah.
It is currently not the tool that you would go to if you wanted the type of flexibility of changes and things that you're describing.
Yeah.
But that's where I think that your idea of creating concepts is a great way of utilizing it to get the client to buy into something before you then put the hard yards in traditional production ways.
Yeah.
But that if I would encourage you to stick with it, because there will be clients that will be satisfied with a lesser quality version of what you can produce, that you can produce for them using AI, charge a fee for, that just frees up your time to give to the clients that do want to pay for the traditional stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, the other idea was combining, because I'm starting to get really fed up with industry, and also because it's so ageist, and I'm of an age similar to you, that you kind of have to do your own thing or die. And so I'm making templates at the moment. So, like, because I use After Effects or Cinema 4D, I'm making templates so I can insert footage. So for Facebook posts, all the animation, and I can steal bits. So it kind of would work. But sorry, just one quick question. I don't want to hog your time. I was looking at Nano Banana because they seem to be a bit more robust when it comes to copywriting. Because as Emma would have told, or told us, was that Midjourney is going to court over saying, I don't care if you get sued. And that for you and I could potentially be a really big problem. And Nano Banana tend to be backing themselves a bit, as far as because they're kind of Adobe linked, aren't they?
No, Nano Banana are Google.
Google. But I think Adobe is starting to sort of recommend them. I think I read somewhere.
I think that Adobe have basically integrated Nano Banana into their. I think it's certainly within Photoshop.
Yeah.
But Nano Banana is just an incredible image generator. The quality, but there are others. But
Midjourney's amazing, but it's expensive and they won't back you. So it's kind of like my plan A has gone out the window, really.
Yeah. But just keep experimenting. Honestly, because it's you will get a result. I mean, don't forget, I'm operating in a very, very defined area of the world of generative AI. So I know the tools that I like using, but they change. Over the last 12 months, Runway was one of my favorites 12 months ago, and I've sort of eased off that to use more VO3 stuff. So we'll see.
What's VO3? Sorry, because I'm just trying to get a hint of where to start. Yeah, what's VO3?
One of the big game changers, VO3 is that's not Google, is it? No. OpenAI, is it? And when they launched VO3, one of the incredible things they did was not just provide you with video images, but with the sound that went with it, and particularly voice, and the lip syncing is insanely good.
Sorry, VO3 is actually Google. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah.
So which is that's right. Yeah, VO3 is Google, as Nano Banana is.
Nano Banana,
they're kind of related in a way, then.
Yes, they are.
Sora, isn't it? That's OpenAI.
Yes.
Sora, I found missing pixels. Like it generated something which I didn't ask for, but it was quite cool, and I wouldn't have thought of it. And I thought this is really good for ideas. But then it had massive, great big squares missing, and I thought, well, how the hell do you go and patch that up?
But you know what? On occasions, I have patched up generations that have been delivered to me because they're so good.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I need to tweak.
Go in and hand rotoscope it by hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it kind of, I mean, it's good because it gives you an extra brain. I mean, I like the inspiration it provides more than anything.
It does.
I really love the way they've done that. Everything else is crap. That's amazing, and then I can go and copy it.
but I'm spending sometimes 30, 40 different iterations to try and get that one piece of work.
And you get enough credits with the software per month? Because I'm worried about
I'm paying. Well, again, I'm being paid for the work that I do. So the way I look at it is that if I've got clients paying me to do the work that I'm producing, that's paying for the credits as well as the license fees. So
yeah, good idea. Thank you for letting me pick your brains, by the way.
Not at all.
Absolutely brilliant. Can I bottle you and keep you?
Thanks, Paula. Amanda, you've got your hand up.
Hi. I thought that your work was amazing and beautiful.
Thank you.
And I was very impressed. I have a question for you about the video testimonials. I'm just wondering if those get flagged in the same way that artificial testimonials would get flagged.
I don't know the answer. What I do know is that whilst the business rationale for it, business owners get. Do consumers trust it? And it's funny, isn't it? Because I watch some of the TV commercials that you get on, traditional TV, where you've got actors delivering testimonials for all sorts of beauty products and washing products and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. Where's the dividing line between real people acting like they're real customers versus AI generated actors pretending they're customers? But in terms of flagging, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that question.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering about Google, if they lowered your reviews or lowered your visibility based on it. But thank you. Yeah.
Wonderful. Any more questions before we close today? No, I think that's it. Well, Jim, that was really insightful, and you've inspired lots of people. And thank you so much for spending the time to show us exactly what we can produce now through AI video and what it looks like. I know we've certainly something that we touch base on in the training, but and like you say, the prompting is the key to it, and also your knowledge and having the language. And that's what when I take people through the image and video section, if you haven't got that language, the vocabulary of a designer, an artist, a videographer, you can't actually prompt the machines to the best ability. So it is really, really important. So that mixture of AI and your experience has been the winning combination for you to create something that's really excellent. And I'm sure you'll get loads more businesses approaching you for business. So thank you so much for coming along today. It was wonderful. And thanks everybody for coming. And I look forward to seeing you next month for our next AI Innovator. But thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.